All right. Hello, everyone. This is maybe a short video. Depends on if my camera dies or not. But I kind of felt led to make this video, and really just talk about storms, trials, and trusting God in the midst of it, man. This is something I struggle with all the time. I'm telling you, I probably struggle with this more than most. Like, I've seen God's hand in my life ever since like fully surrendering and like when He led me to do this podcast with Willard. Like, I've seen God's hand in it in so many ways, and yet I still struggle with trusting with God. I struggle with him. I I don't understand his ways, and I try to understand him. I try to think that I know better than God. I get arrogant. I sometimes yell at God. I get mad at God because I get so frustrated sometimes in my current situations that I can't even see God. Man, we get blinded by our problems. I want to read this passage from Matthew 8:23. This is when Jesus calms the storm. Then he got into the boat, and his disciples followed him. Suddenly, a furious storm came up on the lake, so that the waves were swept over the boat. But Jesus was sleeping. The disciples went and woke him, saying, "Lord, save us! We are going to drown." He replied, "You have little faith. Why are you so afraid?" Then he got up and rebuked the winds and the waves, and it was completely calm. The men were amazed and asked, "What kind of man is this? Even the winds and the waves obey him." It's so easy when we see the storms and we see God not doing anything to think that, oh my gosh, He's forgot us. He doesn't care. We try to take our lives back into our own control because we feel like, when at least when we're in control, we kind of know what's best for us. But God sees us better than we see ourselves. We act on emotion and impulse more than wisdom. And this is something I struggle with all the time because you want to know why? I'm very emotional. I kind of wear my heart on my sleeve. I can in the past I really struggled with, acting on impulse, doing things just because I felt like it. Now following God, I'm like, whoa, you gotta act on wisdom, you gotta go to prayer, you gotta and even when God forbids me from doing things, I'm like, man, that sucks. But you know what? I gotta listen. And it's hard because we want these things so fast. We want prayers get answered so fast. We want to see God's hand in everything so fast because we're so impatient. We can't even see the full picture. Like, we try to rush God, and that's because in reality, we're just scared. We're scared of the future. We're scared if things are going to work out. But then we don't realize that the God who created the heavens and the earth, who set the boundaries of the sea and the land, who created life as we know it, knows us better than us, and has a plan and a purpose for our lives. And man, this is something like I've been struggling all weekend with this. I've been really just giving it to God, just really getting angry at him, like giving him an earful at times because I'm like, dude, I want these things and I've prayed these prayers, some of these prayers for years. And I'm like, where are you in it? And he's like, focus. Stay focused on what I got for you right now. Stay patient, consistent. And it's hard to do that, man. It is so hard to do that. So I want people that are listening to this to understand that if you're going through this, you're not alone. You're not alone in the fact that you don't always trust God. You're not alone when you get angry and frustrated because you see all these people on social media acting perfect, showing off their perfect lives with the perfect pictures, all their smiles and all this and that. You're not alone when you feel like that it sucks. You're not alone when you question God. You're not alone when you get so focused on a perfect aspect of life that you can't even see God's beauty in it. That's kinda why I'm, like, making this video is because I just want people I want people to feel heard through me. I want people to know that, "Hey, you know what? I'm not just a guy who's gonna get in front of a camera and just be, like, with a script and try to say all these things and try to basically lead all these people while also not being vulnerable, not talking about my struggles and my hardships." Alright. Alright, so I think that's honestly, for the most part, gonna be it, but actually, I want to highlight something from Luke 18. I think I read this sometime in a video past, but this has become like one of my favorite passages in the Bible. Just like, and honestly, actually, one of my favorite chapters. Then Jesus told his disciples a parable to show that they could always pray and not give up. He said, "In a certain town, there was a judge who neither feared God nor cared what people thought. And there was a widow in that town who kept coming to him with the plea, 'Grant me justice against my adversary.' For some time he refused, But finally, he said to himself, even though I don't fear God or care about what people think, yet because this widow keeps bothering me, I will see that she gets justice so that she won't eventually come and attack me. Then, and the Lord said, listen to what the unjust judge says, and will not God bring about justice for his chosen ones who cry out to him day and night? Will he keep putting them off? I tell you, he will see that they get justice and quickly. However, when the Son of Man comes, will he find faith on the earth? You see, trials, trusting God, hardships, and struggles, it just perseveres your faith. It talks about this in James. Like it through the trials, your faith will become firm, hardened, rooted. Think of it like clay. You know, you mold clay. God molds us into the people that He wants us to be. We're the clay. He molds us into it. But at some point, to harden that clay, to make the clay firm and the creation firm, it must go in the kiln. It must go in the oven. It must go in the fire. Because the fire is when the oxygen bubbles purify it and make it firm and rooted. So, if there's anything I can encourage people with, just hold on. I'm not going to tell you, oh, this came across your page for a certain reason. No, just hold on. Hold on. Keep gripping to the Lord. Don't let go, man. Just don't let go of him. Give him everything you got. You're going to see his hand in your life. You It may not be the things you want, but it's going to be things you need. And sometimes we gotta be okay with having we gotta be okay with having what we need rather than what we want, because God will give us everything that we need in due time, because His time and His ways and His understanding is greater than ours. So just be humble, dependent on Him. All right, peace.